two people have their hands up. Don Patricio, you are unmuted.
Thank you, Hetty. I appreciate the opportunity to share with the community. You know, the whole time we've been on the conference, I've been pulling weeds. In fact, I'm pulling weeds as we speak in my garden. Maybe you ought to take a moment from pulling the weeds here. Okay. We heard about the challenges facing us in the future, and the challenges that can be met by going back to a way of living that is in harmony and in balance with nature. And a lot of people have always felt that the way to do that is to run away from the cities and run to the mountains or run to the deserts, and that way they can get back to nature, get back to balance and harmony. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Now, I was born Native American, but I am a second-generation urban Indian. My parents already lived in the cities, and I was born in a city, although it wasn't much of a city. I guess I was born in a town, but it was what you call civilized. But when I was a young man, we moved to a big city here in New Mexico, the largest city in New Mexico, Albuquerque. And when the calling came for me to pick up my work as a shaman, because I was initiated as a shaman when I was 5 years old. That was back when we lived in the village. But it seemed to some that I could never be what I was meant to be, because I was in the wrong place. I didn't live in the reservation far away from the influences of the wrong-headed culture, and I would not find my way. But I did. I did it in spite of where I lived. And yes, it was a challenge. It was a challenge to connect with water spirits when you live in a city. But just outside of town, I found a beautiful spring that flows from our mountains that are right there. In fact, we have homes on the side of the mountains because the city is growing into the mountains. But I found a beautiful spring that connected me with the water spirits. And I connected with the fire spirits on the other end of town, because on the other end of town we have 3 extinct volcanoes, which we call the Three Sisters. And there I was able to connect with the fire spirits. And on like that. I connected with all of the spirits that I would have connected if I had still lived on the reservation, if I had still lived in the mountains or in the deserts. It's not necessary to live away from society. It's not necessary to get away from this quote-unquote dominant culture if you know what you need to do. If you have guidance, either from your ancestors or from elders that are willing to talk to you. It is possible to become a shaman in the city. It is possible to become a whole person, a balanced, centered individual, no matter where you live. If you listen to the calling within your heart and you have the necessary determination and maybe just a little bit of help from somebody that points you in the right direction. So really the challenge is not so much to bring youth into the forests or into the deserts and instruct them, but the challenge really is for us to go out, those of us who have found our way, to go out into the cities and show these people where they live where they can find their connection to that greater aspect of life, the spirit world, because it's there. Oh, it's a little bit trickier to find because of all the noise and the traffic and the distractions, but it's still there. Mother Earth is under their feet. Father Sky is above their heads. Water spirits are there. Air still flows. All of these things are there, but they need to be reminded to connect with these things and develop a reverence for them. Like I said, I was gardening here in the city. I have a beautiful garden. I have squash. I have corn. I have chili. I have tomatoes. In fact, yesterday I harvested tomatoes and they were delicious. And I live in the city. And I go into my prayer space every day, morning and evening, to say morning and evening prayers. It's possible. It is possible to become connected. It is possible to become whole. It is possible to find your way anywhere you are if you have a little bit of guidance and if you have a little bit of that spirit within you. And I think the young people that Eric mentioned, they have it within them. They are searching. They just need just a little bit of encouragement that they can do it, because you can all do it. If I can do it, you can do it too, because I'm a lot like you. Yes, I'm Native American, but so what? That's just DNA.
Everybody's DNA has a tribal past.
What made me a spiritual person was the fact that I wanted to connect. I wanted to connect to spirit. And that is all you really need. Like I said, a little bit of guidance. And I wanted to share a prayer with you. One of the prayers that I do in my evening prayers. Oh my Lord, I sing to praise you. Oh my Lord, I listen to hear you. Oh my Lord, I eat to taste you. Oh my Lord, I touch to feel you. Oh my Lord, I think to know you. Oh my Lord, my love, my light, my all. As long as you have the five senses, and you all have five senses, you can direct them. You can direct them to a higher place. Respect for the things you eat. Respect for the air you breathe. Respect for the sounds that you hear. All of these things, just remember. Just remember, like in the prayer, they are from Great Spirit. And if you listen to hear Great Spirit, that's what you'll hear. Well, it might sound like a Harley motorcycle, but it's Great Spirit, because it's in everything. And you look to see the Creator, no matter what you're looking at, it is there within if you have only eyes but to see. And I don't want to use up too much time. I can talk for a long time, but I'll leave that to Eric. He does it so much more eloquently. And then actually, James Equala, another one who can just spin words into honey, and it's good to hear those guys. But I needed to say something because I don't want to see children neglected just because they don't live in the right place. Because they are in the right place. We just have to remind them that they are and show them how they are. Thank you. May we all be blessed in this beautiful moonrise and tomorrow's sunrise. And I'll see you in the morning prayers. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Patricio.
Thank you, Patricia. Beautiful.